Welcome to Semiconductor News Decoded. I'm Ty, with 31 years inside the semiconductor industry, bringing you the real view from the factory floor. Today's topic: Japan and Italy are moving toward deeper cooperation in semiconductor design and development. A summit between the two governments is expected to formalize this alignment, and behind it sits a very deliberate strategy by Rapidus to build its European customer base before mass production begins. As always, I'll explain everything in the most simplified way possible. Even a middle schooler should be able to follow along. If you're a specialist watching, some parts may feel oversimplified, but I'd like to prioritize giving everyone the big picture first. Think of it like a brand new custom home builder trying to find architects who will bring them blueprints. So sit back and enjoy. Here's how I'd picture this story. Imagine a brand new construction company that does exclusively custom builds. No prefab, no cookie cutter houses. The way it works, the client and their architect design the blueprints, and this builder's job is to construct exactly what those blueprints say. The craftsmen here are world class. But here's the catch. If no one brings them blueprints, there's nothing to build. Zero work, no matter how skilled the team. That structure is the whole point. The blueprints come from architects, not from the builder. The builder's specialty is executing plans with precision. So, to stay busy, this company has to build and maintain strong relationships with architects who have clients lined up. The most beautiful workshop in the world mean the nothing without a steady flow of blueprints coming through the door. So, how does a builder like this break into a new region? Rather than cold calling random clients, the smart move is to connect first with the local architects association, the professional network that architects belong to. Inside that network are dozens of architects, each with their own clients and upcoming projects. Earn the trust of that association, and future project inquiries start flowing in naturally. Today's news fits this pattern exactly. Rapidus, our custom builder, has started building ties with research institutions in Italy and the UK that serve as the architects' associations in the semiconductor world. There's no big contract landing tomorrow, but in an unfamiliar market, you have to show up at the door of the network before you can ever get inside. For a builder competing globally, the network of architects who bring you blueprints matters just as much as the skill of your craftsmen. This may look like a quiet move, but Rapidus is carefully laying the sales foundation that will matter when mass production ramps up. From here, let me explain how this dynamic plays out in the actual semiconductor industry. Let me summarize the custom builder stance. Japan and Italy are coordinating to deepen cooperation in semiconductor design and development. Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni are expected to meet in Rome on June 15, 2026, and formalize this agreement. The two leaders are also set to strengthen collaboration in advanced technology fields, including space. And honestly, my current position on this Japan-Italy semiconductor move is almost exactly the same as this custom builder story. The key point here is that the focus is on design and development, not manufacturing. At the center of Japan's side is Rapidus, the new company established to restore Japan's presence in leading-edge semiconductor manufacturing, targeting mass production of 2-nanometer generation chips. Rapidus is advancing its technology development alongside LSTC, the leading-edge semiconductor technology center. On the Italian side, the most prominent player is STMicroelectronics, a company born in 1987 from the merger of Italy's SGS and France's Thomson. Headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, with the French and Italian governments still holding major stakes, ST is one of Europe's most significant semiconductor makers, with substantial research and manufacturing operations in Italy. They have world-class competitive strength in automotive semiconductors and industrial power semiconductors. That said, there has been no announcement of STMicroelectronics directly participating in this particular collaboration. The institution named as the Italian partner in this collaboration is CHIPS IT. Established in 2023 at the University of Pavia as the core of Italy's national semiconductor strategy, CHIPS IT is a national hub specifically focused on semiconductor design. It is linked to the European Chips Act and serves as a bridge connecting universities, research institutions, and private companies. Crucially, it is not a generalist research body. It is design specialized, with strong ties to private design firms. That specificity is what makes it relevant here. UK collaboration has also been reported. The partner there is the UK Semiconductor Centre, a public institution. Rapidus is said to be moving towards signing memoranda of understanding with both the UK and Italian institutions, timed to align with Prime Minister Takaichi's European visit, making this a move with strong diplomatic and economic security dimensions. Rapidus already has research partnerships with IBM in the US and IMEC in Belgium. The addition of UK and Italian partners means Rapidus's network is now expanding across Europe as a whole. Why Europe, and why now? Rapidus is already in customer development talks with more than 60 companies, but the center of gravity has been the United States, where most of the leading AI chip and cloud chip designers are based. As Rapidus moves closer to establishing its mass production capacity, it appears to be turning its attention to Europe as the next market to develop in earnest. European semiconductor demand has a distinct character. Automotive, industrial equipment, and energy applications carry a much higher share than in other markets. As EV adoption accelerates and renewable energy infrastructure expands, demand for high-performance chips is expected to keep growing. And within Europe's fabless ecosystem, companies that design chips without owning fabs, there are players who will increasingly need access to leading-edge manufacturing processes. The geopolitical dimension cannot be overlooked. Today, the world's most advanced semiconductor manufacturing is highly concentrated in Taiwan, specifically at TSMC. Governments across the US and Europe have strong motivation to diversify away from that concentration for national security reasons. Japan's Rapidus partnering with European governments aligns naturally with this push toward supply chain diversification. From my years on the factory floor, I've always believed the hardest part of the foundry business is winning your first volume production customer. You can get companies to evaluate your technology and run prototype wafers, but when it comes to actually placing a mass production order, companies get cautious. The instinct to stick with a proven foundry is powerful. For a newcomer to land that first volume order, years of trust building are simply non-negotiable. That's what makes these MOU signings with research institutions strategically meaningful, even if they look low-key. Through CHIPS IT and the UK Semiconductor Centre, Rapidus gains entry points into Europe's private sector, building a track record from prototype work, then working toward volume orders from there. This kind of sales building typically takes years to pay off, but if Rapidus doesn't start now, it risks arriving at mass production readiness with zero European customers in the pipeline. That said, tempered expectations are in order. There is no information suggesting STMicroelectronics will become a Rapidus customer in the near term, and no large-scale European orders have been announced. Right now, this is firmly in the phase of building research and development networks. An MOU does not translate directly into a production order, and the road ahead is still a long one. Let me recap what we covered today. Japan and Italy are coordinating to strengthen semiconductor design and development cooperation, with an agreement expected at the Rome Summit on June 15th. Rapidus is moving to sign MOUs with the UK Semiconductor Centre and Italy's CHIPS IT, timed to Prime Minister Takaichi's European visit. Italy brings strong capabilities in automotive, industrial, and power semiconductor technology, and CHIPS IT has particularly strong ties to private sector design firms. While Rapidus is already in customer development talks with over 60 companies, mostly US-based, this European outreach is designed to build the commercial foundation in Europe. It also aligns with European governments' clear interest in diversifying their semiconductor supply chains, making this a move with multiple layers: diplomatic, economic security, and commercial. To sum up my take, I see this not as a headline-grabbing mega partnership, but as a carefully laid foundation for customer acquisition ahead of mass production. In the foundry business, technology alone is not enough. Having the factory is meaningless without customers to fill it. From my experience, that customer acquisition challenge is the single hardest thing Rapidus will face. Building connections into Europe's ecosystem through UK and Italian research institutions is quiet but rational strategy. The real question to watch is whether this leads to actual prototype work and, eventually, volume orders from European fabless companies, AI-related firms, or industrial equipment makers. For Rapidus to compete globally, customer base matters just as much as technical capability. I'll be watching this first step with measured but genuine optimism.
That's all for today. I'll keep bringing you semiconductor news and analysis. So if you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Ty on Semiconductor News Decoded.